How you doing, Jenny?
Hi, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very happy that I'm getting to talk to you because not only did I enjoy the film, but after talking to Ben Schwartz, I've taken off the bingo card, my "Don't be suspicious" part of my interview bingo card. So I'm delighted about that. Have your feet hit the ground since last week's nominations? How has the last few days been in your household?
I'm still floating around. Yeah, I'm really, really happy. Yeah, I'm really, really happy. I think this really is one of those once in a lifetime moments. I think the film is one of a kind, and any experience I have connected to it seems to be a totally unique moment. And so I'm just trying to let myself be as happy as I am.
Do you know if you guys have been invited yet? Have you do you know if you're going to get to go to the ceremony? I guess you will. I guess that will be a fun evening with all the glitz and glamour of going to an award ceremony like that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be there. We'll be all dressed up, ready to go.
Excellent. Ironically, I just about a couple of hours ago spoke to the director of Puss in Boots, which was also nominated, and he
Yes.
he was saying we were talking about how animation is such a rich form of storytelling now, and that this year particularly, there's so many varied stories and animation in terms of what you guys have done, what they've done with Puss in Boots, what they've done with Turning Red, and Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
fantastic company, and it's a wonderful celebration of the work that everybody's done with these films, and some that haven't even been nominated.
Yeah, I mean, animation is such a unique space to in that you can really tell emotionally deep stories, and I think people will be a little bit more open to receiving that. I don't know exactly where that comes from, but I do think it's a through line, and all of those films that you just spoke about, like they really do have a grounded emotional story. Yeah, it's really like I think a genre or a mode of filmmaking that I think is pleasing for all ages, which is one of the reasons that I like to do it, because I think it's really important to prove that you can make art that is unique and groundbreaking and very inclusive.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. You guys did the shorts many years ago, and now you've come to the feature. Did you have any trepidation in turning it from a short into a feature? Because sometimes, people who make short films like to leave it, but it is. But you clearly felt you had more to say and more of Marcel's story and everything else to bring to a feature.
Oh yeah, I think we had too much story. Like I think our biggest one of the biggest heartbreaks was just having to cut it down. Like I think, we really built out the world of Marcel. We really took it seriously as a documentary. And I also just really, really, really trust Dean. I think, I just think he'll never make a bad film. I think he'll never make anything that is reiterative. I think he is really, he's like really interested in showing um, our idiosyncrasies as live people in ways that make you feel tender towards them. And so just knowing who I was working with, that along with like all of our producers and with Nick Paley and Kirsten Lepore and Liz Holm, I didn't feel scared at all. I just felt very eager, and I love being Marcel. It's a way for me to connect to um, a really personal place in myself, and to be able to bring that out and express it, and to have people say that they like it even for its weirdness is yeah, it makes me feel really confident.
What was your reaction when you first saw some of the footage back? Because obviously, like you say, you shot it as a kind of a documentary, but Marcel was in there, you're telling his story and everything else. When you saw the footage for the first time, particularly for the film, I mean, you must have been blown away with what the animators were able to do with your performance, but also with the story itself.
I was deeply moved and really excited because there was a certain style, a certain visual style that I know I was hoping for. And I just felt like not only did they nail it, but they just created such a warmth and made such an interesting world out of objects that we see every day and might overlook. And my reaction to that, to Kirsten's work and Dean's work and the work of all of the people on the animation team and the people that built the characters and the sets, I just felt like I was really lucky that I was just receiving such a gift from them, the gift of beauty. And yeah, it was really beautiful to see those first images. And my curiosity was just constantly at an all-time high while they were in that part of the production, because I just wanted to see, yeah, like what they would come up with next.
Yeah, I ironically watched one of the best kind of quote unquote documentaries ever the other night, which is Spinal Tap. And while that has nothing to do with Marcel, what struck me was that the way that they were able to tell that story and get really deep into the characters and tell it in such a unique way. And then watching this as well, it's such a unique way of telling this story. What for you as filmmakers, what did the documentary style like this give you that maybe if you'd have told a linear story of Marcel in terms of like an animation like that, what did it give you to be able to tell the story?
I think at least for me, as the one of the writers and as the performer, when it's documentary style, even though you don't see the rest of the life, you only see the life that you're in. You can't see the future, and there's no footage of the past because it's a documentary. And like the conceit is like we've only been filming what you're seeing here, but like you can feel the fullness of the life, and you can feel the promise of the real life as it extends into its potential, into its future. And I think it gives you a certain level of respect for the character, for the fact that the character, although you're watching the character, you're watching what he's willing to share. You're watching an exercise in trust and bonding. And I think that that really guides the performance. I think it makes any hesitancy or any like limits or boundaries that are set by Marcel even more impactful than if he were just like a character in a narrative film, because what we're saying is that he's making these decisions in real time. We're saying that he's actually creating the story that you are seeing. And I just think it lends that realness to it that makes you want to treat it carefully, and that makes you feel like being able to see Marcel is a privilege that he's allowing you. Even though the documentary is being made about him and he's not real, you still kind of feel that what you're seeing is what he has decided to be vulnerable enough to give.
Yeah. When you did the shorts, what was it about Marcel and the shell and all the kind of the character? How did that come about? What was it? What was the catalyst for that character coming to life?
I mean, first it was just that I was doing the voice really randomly over a weekend one time, and Dean wanted to interview whatever character that was because he had promised a friend that he was going to make a short film for their comedy show. And so he interviewed me in that voice. And then after he got enough information from whatever I was saying, he created the character design for Marcel by just kind of like gluing a bunch of stuff on other stuff until finally he got the right combination that looked right to him. And he showed it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, you did such a good job, it's perfect. And then he interviewed me again, now that I kind of like had in my mind what the exterior of this voice looked like. And yeah, I mean, and so like that's how it started. But then one thing that I always just loved, and I think there's a lot of the foundation of these emotional of a certain emotionality in Marcel, is that he's kind of relaxed, and he's really confident.
Mm,
And for some reason, because of how we are viewing his physicality, we kind of feel like it's funny or strange that he would be relaxed or confident. The way that he is pairs in a funny way with all of the biases or assumptions or connotations that we're putting on his physicality. And I just think it works really well.
really does, really does. It's wonderful, wonderful film. I watched it this morning and was in tears for some of it. So It's
Yeah.
just it's a different environment. And also, I mean, just going back to obviously because of the Oscars are coming up and you're going to be going, I forgot, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once has become this
Yeah.
for phenomenon, which you're a part of as well. I mean, what was your reaction to Michelle and Kiki Kwan and all those guys, Jamie Lee Curtis, all getting nominated for a film that, has been out for a while, yet has still managed to keep this, has been chugging along for all these months that it's now been seen as this wonderful kind of Oscar nominated film now.
Yeah, I mean, and Stephanie Shu, like they
Of course,
all
as
got
well. Yeah,
nominated and they all deserve to be nominated. I think it's incredible. I am so, so, so happy for them. And I think generally, the Daniels made a film that is so powerful, so filled with energy, and so incredibly entertaining. It's like a firework that is always perpetually exploding. It is so satisfying and extraordinary and watchable, and has nothing is similar to it in any way. And within this like experimental space that they created in this film, these characters that you see, like the actors just threw every single thing they had at this, and it shows. And it's I just think it's a masterpiece, and I hope they win every single thing that they were nominated for.
they might just do. There's still a lot of fuel behind them, particularly
I
a
think
couple of them
so.
that have won a couple. Just as a final question, I mean, you've released this in cinemas. Everything Ever All at Once was in cinemas and was really embraced for you as an actor and as a filmmaker. Do these kind of films being successful, or at least being in the marketplace and getting their dues, make you confident about, because obviously there's a lot of talk about streaming and everything else, that these movies can exist in theaters, and that people do want to seek out films that are not necessarily the things that they always get to see every year.
Oh, certainly. It certainly makes me feel confident, and it makes me feel that, like, whether or not, sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless
Excuse
you.
me. That whether or not you're like a cinephile who just needs to see a film in the theater, or you're just somebody who likes going to the movies every now and then, to create something that is meant to be viewed in the theater, I think it's a special gift. I think it's a gesture of respect to the audience, and um, I think we're giving people something that they really want, and it shows.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see this again because it's almost like being back in my childhood where we had to wait 6, 8, 12 months to get films in the UK back in the day. And finally this is here, so we get to enjoy it again. I wish you all the best. Wish you all the best at the Oscars as well, and hope that all goes really well
Thank
for you.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that
yeah.
from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,